The truth is, sometimes it's not your circumstances that make your life difficult. It's the way you think, behave, act, and live. In this video, I'll share 6 simple rules that have made my life easier. If you start applying them consistently, they help you reduce stress and protect your energy. If you're interested in personal growth and creating a happier, more peaceful life, please keep watching. Rule number 1. Create your own principles. The first rule is about having principles. In the past, I read the book The Mountain Is You by Brianna Wiest, where she explains that when we face different problems in life, we often think we need more money, a better relationship, a different job, or more motivation. But many times, what we actually need are better principles to live by. Think of principles as your personal rules for your life. They guide your decisions, especially when life becomes difficult. They become your foundation. They may sound simple or even boring, but if you consistently live by them, they make your life much easier. So, how do you create your own principles? Start by asking yourself, what do I truly value? For example, maybe you value time, freedom, financial security, meaningful relationships, good health, personal growth, or creating beautiful memories. When setting your own principles, ask yourself a question. What do I want to experience in my life? What do I value? And finally, ask yourself, what do I never want to experience? What don't I want to feel? Once you know what you value and what you want to avoid, create a rule that supports it. For example, one of my personal rules is I don't cry over spilled milk. Why? Because in the past, I spent a lot of time feeling regret. I don't want to spend my life ruminating about my past and overthinking, if only this, or I wish I had done this and this. So, whenever something goes wrong, I don't want to waste my energy wishing the past had been different. I remember one situation when my mom sent me a message about a serious problem at her work. My first reaction was to type something like, "Oh, that's such a pity, if only this had happened differently." But then I stopped. I realized that my words wouldn't solve anything. Feeling sorry for what had already happened wouldn't help her. So I deleted the message and wrote something different instead. I'm really sorry to hear that. I hope everything turns out well. Yeah? So I chose to focus on hope instead of regret. Another one of my principles is that I try not to complain about the timeline of my life. Instead of saying everything is taking so long or why isn't this happening yet, I remind myself that some things simply take time. Personally, I trust God's timing is perfect and that helps me stay patient. A principle you can follow can be this. You always do your best when it comes to your priorities. Notice that I didn't say to everything. We can't give 100% to every area of life all the time, but the things that matter most to you deserve your best effort. Create your own principles. They can be about your relationships, your work, your health, your finances, or the kind of person you want to become in the future. Once you have them, don't just write them down, live by them. Because principles aren't just nice ideas we have. They are the foundation that makes your life easier, one decision at a time. If you can't change something, accept it and move forward. This can also become one of your life principles. If you can't change something, accept it and move forward. Easy to say, difficult to do in reality, I know. But if you apply this principle to your life, it can help you move forward because there are so many things we can't control and so many things we can't influence. And when we don't like those things, we often struggle against them. Yeah, we want to change them. We want reality to be different. I know because I used to do the same thing. However, it's so much better to accept what you truly can't change and move forward. Of course, this doesn't happen overnight. You might struggle with acceptance and it can take time. But now, whenever I don't like something about my life, I ask myself, can I change it? If so, how can I change it? And if it's possible, of course, I will take action and try to change it. But if I truly cannot change it, whether it's something that happened in the past or simply something beyond my control, I try to accept it, stop fighting against reality, and focus my time and energy on the things I actually have control over. Protect your energy. Another principle that has made my life much easier is learning to protect my energy. I think we often behave as if we had an unlimited amount of it. To be honest, I used to behave that way until I experienced burnout. But the truth is that just like time, our energy is limited. Once we spend it, we can't get it back. That's why it's so important to be intentional about where your energy goes. Of course, there are responsibilities we all have. We need to go to work, attend doctor's appointments, deal with paperwork, take care of everyday life, and so on. Yeah? Those things are necessary. I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about all the distractions and unnecessary things that quietly drain your energy without adding any real value to your life. Whenever possible, ask yourself, is this worth my energy? Will spending my energy on this help me in any way? Will it bring me closer to my goals? Is it aligned with the life I want to create? And if the answer is no, probably it's something you don't need to give your attention to. There are many small things you can spend your energy on every day. Constantly checking social media, comparing yourself to others, worrying about things you can't control, or overthinking situations that have already happened. All of those things slowly drain your energy. For example, I rarely write reviews of products I've bought online. Not because there's anything wrong with writing reviews, but because I consciously choose where I invest my energy and time. I'd rather use that energy for something that moves me closer to my own goals. Other people may enjoy writing reviews, and that's perfectly fine, but it's simply not where I want to invest my energy. So think of your energy the same way you think about your money. You probably wouldn't spend your money carelessly on things that don't matter. So why would you spend your energy that way? Be selective, protect it. Invest your energy wisely because the way you spend it today shapes the life you will have tomorrow. Try to understand people around you. When it comes to self-development and personal growth, we naturally focus on ourselves, and that's completely understandable. We should put ourselves first, protect our energy, and take responsibility for our own lives. That's fundamental. But at the same time, we still live in a society. We have family members, friends, colleagues, and other people around us. That's why I think it's equally important to try to understand them as well. Very often, we expect other people to think the way we do, behave the way we do, or react the way we would. We assume that our way is the right way and the only way. And when they don't meet our expectations, we become angry, disappointed, or even frustrated. But have you ever stopped and asked yourself, what if they are simply different from me? Have you ever tried to put yourself in their shoes and see the situation from their perspective? I give you my own example. I remember a situation where a member of my family complained that her brother wasn't helping enough around our family property. There was always a lot to do there, such as cleaning, fixing things, mowing the lawn, and so on. The member of my family who wanted to keep the property well maintained expected her brother to help with many of those tasks whenever he visited. But when I looked at the situation from his perspective, I could understand why he didn't. It wasn't because he was unwilling to help. During the week, he worked full-time away from home. At the end of the week, he drove over 200 kilometers back home. Naturally, he also wanted to spend time with his own family. Yeah? By the time he arrived at the property, he simply didn't have enough energy to do all those things she wanted. Yeah? And I remember thinking, what exactly does she expect from him? She was only seeing the situation from her own perspective, not from his. Sometimes people aren't unwilling to help. They are simply doing the best they can with the energy, time, and responsibilities they have. Yeah? So before judging someone, try to understand what their life looks like from their perspective. Rule number 5, choose yourself. Another rule that can make your life much easier is learning to choose yourself. So often, people put themselves in second place. They do everything for their family, their friends, their colleagues, and everyone around them. And somewhere along the way, they forget about themselves. Now, I'm not saying that you should become selfish or stop caring about other people. Of course not. Helping others is important, especially when someone genuinely needs your support or when you're dealing with an emergency. But you also need to think about yourself. You need to put yourself first, not because you're more important than everyone else, but because you also matter. Whenever someone asks you for something that requires a lot of your time, energy, or other resources, pause for a moment and ask yourself, am I willing to do this? Don't automatically say yes out of guilt or because you feel responsible for someone else's happiness. Your time and energy are limited, so use them wisely. Remember, you need your energy for your own life as well. Yeah, you need it to work on your goals, to build your dream life, to improve yourself, and to create the future you truly desire. Because if you spend all your time living for everyone else around you, one day you may wake up and ask yourself, what happened to my dreams? How did I end up so far away from the life I wanted? Yeah, so don't let that happen. Choose yourself. Focus on what you want. Focus on what you need to do to build the life you truly want to build. Lastly, accept when people leave your life. This rule is mainly about friendships. I know it can be painful when someone no longer wants to be part of your life or when life simply takes you in different directions. I've experienced the end of several friendships myself. At first, I wasn't happy about it. I missed those people, and of course, it wasn't easy. But over time, I started looking at those situations differently. Personally, I choose to believe that if God removes someone from my life, it's ultimately for my good. That doesn't necessarily mean the other person was toxic or a bad person. Sometimes people's lives simply go in different directions. Your values change, your priorities change, or your lives no longer fit together the way they once did. There were times when I realized that I no longer identified myself with the same things my friends valued, or I could see that our paths were naturally moving apart. And instead of fighting that, I accepted it. And looking back, I believe it was the right thing to do. So if someone leaves your life, don't automatically see it as a tragedy. Sometimes it's simply a sign that this chapter of your life has come to an end. Of course, it's okay to feel sad, it's okay to miss the person, but don't spend your energy trying to make someone stay in your life if they no longer want to be there or shouldn't be there. Personally, I never try to pull people back into my life, whether it's a friend or even a family member who chooses to distance themselves. I accept their decision. I believe that the people who are truly meant to be part of my life will stay, and those who leave create space for new people, new opportunities, and new chapters. If you consistently apply these rules, you will start making better decisions, protecting your time and energy, and creating a life that feels much more peaceful and intentional. If you found this video helpful, please give it a like and subscribe for more videos about personal growth and life transformation. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.